Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to, cut through the noise and really get you informed. Today, we are plunging into, well, a pretty fascinating corner of the digital world. It's about an experimental digital currency. We're looking at a sort of high-stakes experiment, really, trying to decode what makes it tick, figure out its purpose, and pinpoint the critical things you need to know if you encounter it. Our mission, as always, is to pull out the key insights from our source material. Today, that's excerpts from Texit Coin, an introduction to a cryptocurrency experiment. Think of it as peeling back the layers, getting you those aha moments about this, well, interesting digital case study. So, okay, let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is Texit Coin, according to this source? It says it's a digital token, part of something called the Texit ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a good starting point, the Texit ecosystem. It's basically the digital environment, the platform where Texit Coin is supposed to be used and traded. Think of it as its native home. And its purpose, as the source states it, is pretty telling. It's designed to help people learn, trade, and explore crypto, but in a simple, hands-on way.
Simple and hands-on.
Right. So it positions it less like a traditional investment, and more like an educational tool, a sandbox almost, for understanding crypto without maybe diving into the really deep end of the market right away.
Right, okay. But here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. The source is incredibly clear. Texit Coin has no guaranteed value, and it's not backed by any company, government, or financial institution. That seems huge. Why is that detail so fundamental? What does it tell us?
Well, it is huge. It's fascinating, actually, because it forces us to ask, what does value even mean here? Traditional finance, it leans on things we can point to, assets, government backing, institutional trust.
Tangible stuff, or at least traceable guarantees.
Exactly. Texit Coin, the source says it strips all that away completely. Its unbacked nature means any value it might acquire is purely a social construct.
Right.
It's just what the community believes it's worth moment to moment.
A social construct.
Which is, both its biggest weakness, its fragility, maybe, but also for people who really believe in decentralization, it's the core of the experiment. It's really different from how we usually think about money or assets.
Okay, so if its value is just what people collectively decide it is, how does the source suggest we should think about it? It mentions it being a tool for learning, yes, but also a community-driven project. And high-risk, high-reward potential.
Absolutely. That community-driven part is really key.
What does that mean in practice, according to the source?
It means the project's direction, its development, even its perceived value, it all depends heavily on the users, their actions, their participation. It's not some central company calling the shots.
So like a digital collective.
Pretty much. Its success or failure, it really hinges on the community being active and, well, sharing a belief in it. It implies a very different way of governing things, a direct link between users getting involved and whether the project survives. It's meant to be collaborative, decentralized.
Okay, so a learning tool, community-driven, inherently high risk. That leads us to the next critical point, right? What does this actually mean for someone who might, use it or even just try to understand it?
Right, and the source is very explicit here. It leads with this warning.
Yeah.
Important. Texit Coin is experimental.
Experimental.
Yeah. And the implications are pretty stark. It means prices can swing wildly, up or down, very quickly. And crucially, all transactions are permanent.
Permanent. No takebacks.
None. There's no undo button here.
Wow.
Once a transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, that's it. It's immutable. That's just how this technology works.
And that warning, only use funds you're willing to risk. That's incredibly blunt, especially for something pitched as for learning and exploration. Isn't there some friction there?
Oh, absolutely. And that tension is precisely what the source seems to be highlighting. It's like it shows the two sides of innovation in this space, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, on one hand, yeah, it offers a way to learn by actually doing something with crypto, hands-on. But on the other hand, those lessons, they might come with a real financial cost because it is experimental, which means it's unstable by nature. So the source isn't really trying to smooth over that contradiction. It's just stating it plainly. This is the deal. This is how you learn, but be aware. These are the stakes. It's basically challenging the user to balance their curiosity with extreme caution.
Right. And it goes further, outlining these acknowledgments you have to make before you begin.
Yeah.
Really driving home personal responsibility.
Exactly. First off, you have to acknowledge that you, the user, are totally responsible for your own funds and your transactions. Period.
Which is different from my bank account.
Very different. It really raises the question of personal accountability in this whole digital asset world. You need a lot more self-reliance than in traditional banking, where you might have fraud protection or ways to reverse things.
Okay, what else?
Second, it clearly states this is not financial advice. Full stop.
Got it.
And third, it warns users. Always, always double-check everything. Wallet addresses, network settings, the smart contracts involved.
Smart contracts being the code that runs the rules.
Precisely. Those self-executing agreements on the blockchain. Because if you mess up an address, send coins to the wrong place, use the wrong network,
It's gone.
it's gone. There's no central helpline to call, no bank manager to fix it. Once it's confirmed on that decentralized ledger, it's done. Irreversible.
And just to hammer that point home again, the source is crystal clear. This is not financial advice. And neither is this deep dive, of course. We're just exploring the information provided, not telling anyone what to do with their money. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've pulled from the source about Texit Coin. It's presented as experimental. It's an unbacked digital token designed primarily for learning. It's community-driven, which sounds interesting, but also maybe unpredictable. And it comes plastered with warnings about high risk, no guaranteed value, and the user bearing all the responsibility for their actions.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. And if we sort of step back and connect this to the bigger picture, Texit Coin is actually a really good microcosm of what's happening more broadly in the digital asset space.
How so?
Well, it shows the innovation, right? People trying new things, new models, but it also puts the unique risks of these unbacked experimental assets right under the microscope. It really hammers home how important critical thinking and, frankly, doing your homework is in this, rapidly changing financial landscape. New forms of value, new ways to exchange things are popping up all the time.
Right.
And the rules of the game are just fundamentally different from what most of us are used to with traditional finance.
Definitely different. Which leaves us with maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. How does this whole idea of community-driven experimental digital thing with absolutely no guaranteed value, how does that challenge or maybe confirm your own understanding of what value even is in this digital age? And maybe think about where that line is for you between, the excitement of learning and exploring something new and the very real, potentially irreversible risks involved in these kinds of ventures. Something to mull over until our next deep dive.